So I'm just like, the least you can do is the 2 chores that you guys have.
Right.
That is the least you can do for us. And they like got really quiet and they're like, I know, we understand and we're so sorry.
And the thing is, they can't possibly understand either,
No.
right? Like, they don't know what, when you say you do everything for them, they have no concept
They don't.
of what that means.
I know.
Yeah. But I can feel their pain.
Trying
like
to kind of make them understand.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're trying to
talk
understand.
Quietly and calmly. So then the next day I'm like, okay, because this needs to change kind of thing. I'm not doing this anymore and I don't want to yell at you guys and I hate getting mad. Can you just do this? Like, we're 5 people living in the same house. We all have to pitch in kind of thing. The next day it was the same thing. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm just fucking done. Like, I seriously, if my head could explode, it would have.
So what'd you do?
I did the same thing. I yelled and I said, guys, I talked to you about this. I yelled at you about this. Like, we sat down and had a conversation and you said you got it. You knew that you had to do your chores. I'm like, they're on the fridge. There's a whole big poster of what you're supposed to do. I'm like, I'm not going to go to work and just browse the internet because I don't have a list of things to do. I know what I need to do. I don't come home and forget to make supper. I know I have to make supper because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Maybe you should just forget to make supper sometime. Starve them into chores.
Just like, Jesus.
So?
It got better, but it's still not great. And then at that point, Avery broke down and I did sit the older 2 down again and I'm like, is there something going on, like something that is happening that you're not telling me, because this is not working right now. And then Avery broke down and said that he's feeling very overwhelmed because he has hockey 5 days a week. He's refereeing 2 days a week. He has school projects. Like, he went from no homework in elementary school to junior high having homework. Not a lot of homework, really.
Still. And that's a lot to be doing every week.
Yeah.
All the hockey and refereeing.
It is. So he goes from nothing to everything, kind of. And I was like, okay, well, why don't we take a couple weeks off refereeing and see how you feel then? And it kind of worked out because we did have like a whole weekend of hockey that we had to stop everything and just focus on that. Right. So he got to actually enjoy what he wanted to enjoy and do something that he really loved doing. And we made we took his agenda. I said, this is why your school gives you agendas, because you can plan out everything. And the homework that you have, write it down. If you have a project due on the 20th, write it on the 20th and then figure out what you need to do until then. So we made a plan.
So easily said.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, this is what you need to do. You have to do that or else things do get overwhelming and then you feel like this. And anyway, so we figured out, like, he had a couple projects that he needed to do, and they were doing a worksheet on learning how to use a dictionary. So it was things that they had to do until they were tested at the end of the month. And so I think it was just a lot of things all at once, which is understandable. I mean, it happens to me. So once we did that, it kind of gave him a little bit of a relief. So it was better. But yeah, I mean, still, just this last weekend, I had to remind him to do stuff. And like the dog, she growls when she's either hungry or needs to go out. And it's a little bit of a different growl for either one. And you can tell usually what the difference is. And so she needed to have supper or something. And we're sitting there eating supper and she's growling. And he's just like, eating his supper. And we're all staring at him. And I'm like, Avery. He's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, come on. Like, she's sitting there growling for 5 minutes. We're all staring at you. How do you not notice this? But at the same time, he is a teenager.
Yes.
So I have to
How old is he again?
respect that. He's he'll be 13 in a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to be interesting years. Autumn is just, I know we're at like 50 minutes. I just know Autumn is going to be so headstrong. She's going to be so headstrong. It's going to be interesting.
And I struggle with that. Like, I know part of the way your children act is based on genetics, and that they
just who they
are who they are because of who you are. But there's also like, if you're very strict disciplining, then they're going to be very cautious. Where if you're a little more lenient, they'll be a little more confident. So
it's all relative, though, and the lines are fine.
I know.
And blurry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was having children, like when I was younger, I was like, okay, my kids are not going to be those assholes. They're not going to be the kids that scream running around. They're not going to be rude to people. So we were very strict, I guess, about like them saying yes and please and thank you and not running around stores. And we made sure that we were very clear. Well, compared to other people. And now looking back, I'm like, geez, I wish we hadn't have been so strict sometimes because they don't have that super confidence and they don't have that leadership quality, I guess.
That mom guilt. Maybe it's just how they are. Maybe it's not a matter of
I know.
What you should have done.
And how do you know?
And how do you know? There's no way of knowing.
No.
No.
Avery's gained quite a bit of confidence. I guess maybe just with hockey and being a referee, he has
that's good.
A little more control over things. And salesman, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Like if they sell tickets for hockey, he's all over it. And he's like way above everybody else.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm really shocked because that's not me at all.
One thing that I'm really happy about that with our situation really has nothing to do with co-parenting is that she's at the Y all day, every day. And so she's been doing that for, like, how old was she? I think she was 10 or 11 months when she first started at the Y every day. And because she's a single child in both homes, she's an only child in both homes, I think it's great that, because he and I believe, are both on the same page in terms of manners and, communicating yourself and, don't run in parking lots and, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that she is around a group all day, every day, in a really fairly structured environment with different ages of kids in different rooms and stuff, I think that's just so. There are pros and cons to everything, of course. But for me, for my kid, I'm super happy that she's where she is all day, because she has to learn how to deal with those kinds of situations where I know, like, if she were just with me, obviously she wouldn't do that because we'd hang around and bake and watch TV.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have to worry about it. You know?
Yeah. So. And that was one thing, the baby group that I'm in, a couple of them have homeschooled and some of them still do. And that was one thing that never appealed to me because I always wanted the kids to be with
and
other
I think
children.
It helps them figure out what kind of person they are.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that you mentioned leadership qualities. I believe Autumn is going to be a leader. It's just sort of her natural disposition. A leader, or at least really independent, or whatever it is. I don't know, but she and I think part of that is developing because she's seeing herself around other kids and she's learning just sort of how she fits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've said this before. I can't give enough props to the teachers of the Y. I love them so much. Anyways, so we're like at nearly an hour.
Yeah, we are.
That was awesome. Good. Thank you very much. Hopefully nothing gets in the way next week either.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.